This is lecture 9.3, graphing linear equations in two variables in prealgebra. The first example that we have is x plus y equals 5, and what they're asking you to do is graph that. So all you need to do is make a little chart here, and I don't know if the book really, it doesn't look like they are doing much with that chart, but this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to call that x and that y. And we're going to make a graph here because they want us to graph it. I'm sure your graphs will look a lot better than mine, although I am pretty awesome at it now that I look at it. Holy smokes. Okay, what they're doing is asking you to graph that. They want you to draw a picture of that equation. Well, what I suggest doing is come up with 3 points. You can put 3 points on here, but they just have to be in the right place, and when you connect those 3 points, they should make, like I said earlier, a straight line. So we can pick any numbers we want in the whole wide world. So if you're like me, you're going to want to pick the easiest numbers to work with, and we'll just start with those. So let's use, I like to start with 0, and we'll put a 0 in for x. I like to use a positive number, and I like to use a negative number. Okay, so there's 3 numbers that I have there. So what happens when x is 0? Well, I get 0 plus y equals 5, because what I'm trying to do here is find the y value based on x being 0. Well, 0 added to anything is nothing, so my y is 5. So I'm going to put a 5 there. Okay, and let's just fill in this chart first before we graph anything. What happens when my x is 5? Subtract 5, y equals 0 then. Okay. And let's do the last one here. When x is negative 5. Add 5, so y equals 10. Which is kind of a big number. That's going to be a pain, but oh well. I try to stick with smaller numbers so I can get them all on the graph. Alright, so let's graph 0, 5. So x is 0. We don't go left or right anything, but we go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that point. Now let's graph this one, 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we didn't go up or down, so it's going to be right there. And the next one is negative 5, 10, so we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have to go, doggone it, up 10. I don't have that much room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe I do. So that's going to be a point like right here. So if I were to graph this, then I would draw a line that connects all my dots, and I need to have a straight line when I draw my dots. Obviously this one's a little off, and because I hand drew it, so what I do is sometimes I make my dot really, really, really big so that the line goes through it. No, not really. I mean, that's not mathematically correct, but you get the gist of it. We make a chart, plug those numbers in, and again, the numbers we pick for this chart can be any numbers you like, and then you draw a straight line, and there we have right there a blue line of the picture of that equation. So example 2 gives us y equals 3x minus 1. And again, I'm going to draw a graph or a table like that. And I know it's going to give me a straight line. And again, I'm just going to pick any numbers I want for x. And so let's use 0 again. Let's use 2, and let's use negative 3. And we'll draw our graph here. Okay, so there's my graph. So let's put in 0. y equals 3 times 0 minus 1. And because this is going to be 0, we can just get rid of that. So y is negative 1. So if we graph that, we go left to right from the origin, 0, and we go down 1. So there's my point right there. Let's plug 2 in. Y equals 3 times 2 minus 1. So that's going to be 6 minus 1, which is 5. So when x is 2, y is 5. And we can graph that. And we go over 2 and up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we end up about right there. And now let's do negative 3. Y equals 3 times negative 3 minus 1. So y equals negative 9 minus 1. Signs are the same, so we add them and put the sign on there. And so then we have negative 10. So negative 3, 10. Negative 3, and then down 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to be down here somewhere. And then when we draw a straight line, and I'm sure this won't be real straight, but it will go through all three of those. If it does not go through all three of those, let's say that you graph this third point down here, and let's say that it showed up here. Well, there isn't a straight line that can be drawn between those 3 points, so apparently one of your points is in the wrong place because it has to go through all 3 of them if you did it correctly. So that's the reason you do 3 points, is so that when you draw your straight line, all 3 points will line up and your line will go through those.